If you have a good connection, which we do now, the other participants and we can go to each other, and that's important, to have the confidence to talk to someone else, and then you feel you feel better, and you find more answers, and particularly because of the nature of the project, where you're together and you're sharing your ideas in that format. I mean, it's one thing to go and have a coffee together, but it's another thing to do the collage and to present it, and to give it some thought beforehand. And we did a bit of preparation for the one installation, and then it was so interesting to hear the other people's story. But particularly, I appreciated that format. And it was very relaxed. You organized the sessions in such a way that you felt safe to speak, and I think my attitude has changed that way, and I feel more, I mean, not all the time, but usually I feel like this is how I am, and if you can't deal with it, well, that's your problem. I got an infection from a sliver. How do you go through life without getting another sliver? And every time you get a sliver, you get an infection, you get antibiotics, and then your arm gets worse. That's really scary stuff. And I think we got into some very deep feelings. And I think it's healthy. When I first showed up, my intention was to participate in the workshop, but in terms of staying on for the performance, wasn't going to happen. And that took a lot of encouragement for me to continue. You know, if we're not comfortable, can we back out? And we don't have to keep going if we, you know, if we... And now I look back on that and I think, I'm quite comfortable doing this, and we're just getting ready to take our places, and we're coming into the auditorium, and Barb said, we met a lady in the hall, and Barb said, "We're the actors." And I said, "Barb, don't say that." We're not actors, but it became almost a joke to pretend that we were actors. We were having fun with it. It's interesting to see the parallels in other people's lives.
With your own, you mean?
With our, you know, how people react to us, and how we experience the world. One of the reasons I wanted to be part of the project was I was starting to realize how consistently I was seeing a theme of women being unable to stand up for themselves. I heard a lot of stories about women going through cancer who had bad experiences, and in some cases really falling through the cracks. I was on a search. Mostly I deal with things by talking. So what better way than to go somewhere where they let you talk and listen. Hopefully I listened as well. It's not a theatrical, you know, masterpiece, but it's more. I appreciate that we didn't have to memorize our lines and take it to a level of trying to be something that we're not. So it was nice that we could also have some fun and, you know, girl time, and that was important to me, that it could be a quite a relaxed atmosphere, and that way Pam was a really great director because she was very supportive and you know, fun-loving, so I appreciated that. A very positive experience for me. And I like to think that we're fulfilling a need for some of the people watching. And even though it is imperfect and our information isn't necessarily completely accurate, but that shows you something too.
Joy. Joy that you can turn something sad into something creative and wonderful. And hopefully I participated so that other breast cancer survivors who haven't been diagnosed yet will have a few other resources. And sometimes I think you can learn things more effectively from a creative project rather than a dry textbook. So it's kind of a circle. I learned from the other women, and I hope I gave something back. And it is kind of a sisterhood. It's the one thing where men don't get in. Even in the beginning, I mean, it's a completely different experience to walk into a room and you know that they've all gone through so the first 20% of the conversation has already been taken care of, really. It's a comfort level where you know that you don't have to prove anything or explain anything or be better than you are. You can be quiet and they understand why. You can be inarticulate and they'll understand why. Because it is a difficult thing to talk about. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it takes that loneliness factor away. It also seems like sort of its own cultural development. Culture around medicine rather than medicine always being so scientific. That's why I really enjoyed the bridging of medicine with the hospital experience in particular. It gave me permission to understand, yes, you know, when I've got that funny achy feeling, there is something going on with my arm and I'm not just becoming a hypochondriac. The other women, it was very interesting to see how courageous they were, and yeah, there's strength in number. It's good to meet a group of people like that to, I guess it's age-old sort of support systems and like-mindedness and all the other things. Peer understanding or peer pressure even. Yeah, I just feel like I'm back at university in the student days and everything is a new discovery. And the arm is just kind of secondary. I decided before I even got on stage, I just pretended that I knew them all and I decided they'd all be friends.